Your testimony, Mr. Alvarez, is that let me put this down real quick. Your testimony is that after you hung up from the 911 call, Fahim Muhammad came into the room.
That is correct, sir.
Did he come in while you're on the phone, or did he come in right after?
I believe it was after the phone call, sir.
But almost immediately after.
Yes, sir.
And you walked over to Fahim Muhammad, right?
Yes, sir. I met him halfway. He's coming in.
And you had a brief conversation with him.
Just a few words, sir, yes.
And at some point then you went over to help Dr. Murray perform CPR.
That is correct, sir.
This, I believe you testified, you compressed the chest while Dr. Murray did mouth-to-mouth.
That is correct, sir.
And during that entire period of time, you were compressing the chest. Right?
Yes, sir. For a few moments I did. Yes, sir.
Well, didn't you continue to perform CPR until the paramedics came?
If I recall correctly, yes.
Well, do you recall that?
Yes, I recall it.
You certainly wanted to make sure that you did everything possible to help Mr. Jackson.
That is correct, sir.
And if that meant you helping do CPR, that's certainly something you were willing to do.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you did.
That's correct, sir.
So during that period of time that you were performing CPR, you would agree with me that you were busy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you performed CPR for about 2 minutes?
I don't know the time, sir. But
was it strenuous CPR?
No, sir. I was, just doing regular chest compressions, sir.
During that entire period of time, you never touched any vials or bags or did anything other than CPR?
No, sir.
Double negative?
So we can safely say that during that period of time you were performing CPR, you put away no vials?
No, sir.
Well, we're getting to double negative.
Did you put away any vials during that time frame?
Objection failed gets to put away.
Overruled.
I did not.
We just need to avoid double negatives. Thank you.
And prior to performing CPR, I believe your testimony is you were on the phone to 911.
Correct, sir.
And during that period of time you were talking to 911, your focus was on making sure you could get aid to Mr. Jackson.
That is correct, sir.
And certainly during that period of time, you would agree with me that to the 911 operator.
That is correct, sir.
You weren't touching vials.
No.
Or IV bags during that time.
Not at all, sir.
Weren't putting anything away.
No, sir.
Now we see on your phone records that you made this phone call to 911 at 12:20 p.m.
That's correct.
I thought the idea was to keep it just where it was.
Well, they have to see this as well. The jury has to see the
Oh, I see.
so I figured it's good.
Well, one's a little higher than the other, but that's fine. Go ahead. Sure.
911 phone call 12:20
Your Honor,
p.m.
we're recorded by me to give it.
If you want to scoot over, Mr. Weldon and/or Ms. Brazil.
It's okay to put over the corner.
Sure. You want this marked as defendant's G as in golf, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Judge.
It's marked right now, G.
All right. It's titled Timeline. It's marked as Defense Exhibit G, Judge.
Thank you.
All right. Now back to your phone records, we see that when Michael Lemire Williams first called you, he called you at 12:17 p.m. Is that right? And he left a voicemail.
No, sir, I don't believe so. I believe it just went to voicemail. But there was no voicemail.
No voicemail.
No, sir.
And then Michael Amir Williams calls you again at 12:17.
Correct.
Same time. He leaves a voicemail,
No, sir.
but you call him back right away.
That is correct.
And you call him, and you have a 6-second phone call to Michael Amir Williams,
Correct.
and you don't get him.
No, it went straight to voicemail.
And then you called him again,
Correct.
but you don't get him.
No, sir.
It goes to voicemail again.
That is correct.
And both of these calls took place at 12:18 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So the first call was 6 seconds long, and the second call was 5 seconds long.
Correct.
Okay. Then at 12:18, you call him again.
Correct.
Is that right? And this phone call lasts 88 seconds. So you would agree with me that 88 seconds is 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Correct.
So assuming that you got hold of Michael Amir immediately after 11 seconds had transpired, you would agree that somehow you got hold of Michael Amir somewhere at 12:19.
Yes. Oh, it says 12:18.
Well, you spoke for 88 seconds. You hung up with him after 88 seconds. Is that right?
Okay. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Your testimony is that you were speaking to Michael Amir.
Yep.
You went out in front of the house, still on the phone to Michael Amir, right?
Yes.
You went to the front door, still talking to Michael Amir.
Correct.
You went up the stairs, still talking to Michael Amir.
That's correct.
And then when you were on the landing and Dr. Murray said something to you, you hung up with Michael Amir.
That is correct, sir.
And that took 88 seconds.
That's what it says, yes.
When you received the phone call from Michael Amir, you had been hanging out at the trailer for about 2 hours. Is that right?
Approximately, yes.
And you weren't doing anything particularly stressful, were you?
No, sir.
In fact, you were checking emails,
I was on the computer.
browsing the internet maybe?
I believe so.
And when the call came in, or you finally spoke to him, you were, would it be fair to say that it was alarming, the phone call?
It sounded serious, so yes, my senses were up.
Well, what did he say to you exactly?
He said, first thing he says, Alberto, where are you at? And I said, I'm at the house. I'm at the property. And he says, okay, get up. Don't make too much of a distraction, or don't make don't make any sudden moves where you were going to alarm anybody into that regard, sir.
Did he tell you there was something wrong with Mr. Jackson?
No, sir. All he said was go to the front of the house.
And going to the front of the house, as you already identified, is not a usual occurrence.
Well, I mean, when we're asked to go in through the front of the house, then we would go in through the front of the house. But it's not unusual.
You pointed out that when you're dropping Mr. Jackson off,
Correct.
you take his stuff in.
Right.
It's after the rehearsal.
Correct.
But you going through the front of the door, generally speaking, is an unusual occurrence.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it unusual. It's just not it didn't happen all the time.
Let's take a look at Exhibit 6, People Exhibit 6. You've already pointed out the security trailer is right here. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Pointing to that white box that you've already identified for the record.
Yes.
And next to the security trailer, there's a little tower, there's a door right next to the security trailer that's attached to that tower. Is that right?
Correct.
It goes to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to use the restroom, you go through the kitchen.
That is correct, sir.
But he asked you to go to the front.
That is correct, sir.